Want to know step by step how to make a sweater like this? Keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to make this Alpine baby sweater. And before we get into that, I'm gonna go over a little bit about yarn. So I have 3 different yarns here that I used. These 2 I used by Yarn B, Soft and Sleek DK yarn, just in different colors. These were used with a 3.5mm hook, if I remember correctly, and they're the same amount of stitches, but this white one is way looking smaller than this gray one, and I think it's like the yarn inconsistency itself. This one crocheted way bigger. I don't know what that was about. So this is a thinner yarn. The next one is this one. This has a lot of color options. This is the Sweet Delight one, Yarn B. You can find these all at Hobby Lobby. I love this type of yarn because you have so many color options. Sandcastle, Espresso, Green Light. So this type of yarn is the Sweet Delight Yarn B. And the color that I used for this was actually, let me look at my book. I started keeping a book because I was making so much stuff that I cannot remember in a notebook. Espresso and Sandcastle, and I actually used a 4mm hook for this one. This was 3.5, 4. And then the next yarn that's bigger are these 2. This is the Easygoing one, Yarn B. This is Willow, and this one is Frosting. These are 2 different sizes. This one's bigger, this one's smaller, and I used 5mm crochet hook. Even though it does recommend a 5.5 on the yarn ball, I just like a tighter stitch. So first, you need to decide what kind of yarn you want to use. Chunkier, thinner. This will all vary in on how big your sweater will end up. That's why I don't really like labeling sweaters by months, because there's like so many different variations that will make the sizing turn out different. Whether it's crochet hook size, whether it's yarn thickness. So first, it's deciding what kind of yarn you want to use. The second part is ribbing. So you can make any kind of ribbon you want, doesn't matter, as long as the amount of rows is the same. That's the important part. But the style of the ribbing, you can customize it. So I have 3 different kinds that I've worked with personally. I've worked with this type. This is the slip stitch yarn over one. Then I worked with the regular single crochet one in the back loop, and then a single crochet folded over, so it's double thickness. So those are the 3 options that I have so far experimented with. So this video is just a little intro before we get into actually making the sweater, to give you a little like background idea, knowledge. I'll be posting how to make this sweater in parts, so like little sections, so you can go back to where you need to work on and not get as overwhelmed. And we're gonna start the first part, the collar, in the next part. So this is part 1, just a little intro. I'm going to be using the thicker yarn, Easygoing, and this one is going to be in the color Sage. So I have one over here in the color Willow, so this is a little bit different green. And I'm going to be making this size, the smallest size, just for the sake of the video, to work up faster. And the type of ribbing that I'm picking is this kind, the yarn over slip stitch one. I'm going to be using a 5mm crochet hook, the same size for the whole sweater. If you're making a different type of ribbing, if it's the folded over double one or just the regular one, you do want to size down half a size of your crochet hook from the rest of the body that you're going to be doing, because this is a single crochet, so you want it to be a little tighter. While the yarn over slip stitch, they're slip stitches, so they already will be tighter. You don't need to size down a hook. For the double collar, you want to chain 12. You will end up with 11 single crochets, and then you slip stitch together at the end and fold it over. I have a video on my YouTube channel how I do this kind of collar with a different sweater, but it's the same concept. So if you are confused and want to do this, you can look at that just for the collar part on how I fold it over and how I work it. And for this one, just a regular 1 layer single crochet. You chain 6 and you will end up with 5 single crochets that you work back loop only, back and forth. Okay, so for this type of ribbing, I'm going to chain 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Second loop from the hook, slip stitch, and 1 slip stitch in each stitch all the way down. I have 5 slip stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to yarn over into the first stitch, not the chain 1, back loop. We're going to go in, pull up our yarn, and then pull through these 2 loops. And do that all the way to the top in each of the 5 stitches. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, and that's the end of row 2. Chain 1, turn your work, and work into the back loop only, a slip stitch. Chain 1, row 3 is complete, turn, and now this is the yarn over slip stitch row. So you're just alternating 1 row of regular slip stitches in the back loop and 1 row of yarn over slip stitches in the back loop only. And you're going to do this until you have a total of 46 rows. So I'm going to do that off camera and meet you guys back for the next step. I have 46 rows all done. Now, I ended with a chain 1. This is the back side and this is the front side. So this braid looking is the front side, and the one that has these like loops over here is the back side. So we're going to take the back side and put it together. we're going to go into the foundation chain that we did at the beginning, the first section, the first space, and into the back loop, not both loops, but back loop only on the other side. And we're going to slip stitch now into the next one, and only the back loop, slip stitch, and we're going to do this 5 times, so that's 2, this is 3, 4, and our last one, 5, then we're chaining 1. Now you want to flip your work out to the right side. This is how it's looking. And now we're going to make 1 single crochet in each row. The first single crochet is going to go in this row. It's a little bit hidden from this bumpy braided row, but right in here. And then 1 into the braid row. And then 1 into the more hidden row that's between the 2 braided ones. And you're gonna go all the way down, doing 1 single crochet of each row of ribbing, and you should be left with 46 single crochets at the end. I have went all the way around and I have 46 stitches. So now into the very first one, I'm going to slip stitch. So this seam over here, it gets pulled in a little like that. Okay, so that is the collar ribbing all done, and the next part will be the beginning of the yoke. Okay, the collar is all done. Let's start the yoke. Okay, so we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then into the same stitch that we slip stitch, we're going to double crochet. This will be considered a V-stitch. Now into the next 7 stitches, we're going to place 1 double crochet in each stitch. Now into the next stitch, we're going to make a V, which is a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet into the same stitch. That is our second V. Now into the next 14 stitches, we're going to place 1 double crochet in each stitch. I have 14 double crochets, and into the next stitch we're going to make our V-stitch, and then we're going to do 7 double crochets, V-stitch, and 14 double crochets. I have my first row complete, and I'm ending it off with a slip stitch in the first V space. So now let's look at this. For this first row, we have our V space, 7 double crochets, V, 14 double crochets, and then it's a little bit hidden, but here's our next V. Then again, 7, V, and 14. Now we're going to start our Alpine pattern. So for row 2, we're going to chain 3 and double crochet. we're always going to start with a V first. Now for our next stitch, we're going to front post around this first stitch. So instead of working into the top, we're going to front post around it. This is actually a double crochet from the previous row V stitch. So you do not want to be working into here. We want to make sure that you're working into the double crochet from the V previous row. That is how the increase will go. So we're going to front post around it, and then a regular double crochet around the next and front post. And that's how you alternate to your next V space, doing a front post and then a regular double crochet and a front post. So before I go into my V space, I have worked my last stitch here as a front post. So we're gonna increase two stitches more each row by working in the previous V stitches. Now we will do our regular V stitch into the space. Our next section, we're gonna make sure not to miss this double crochet, which we're gonna front post around it. And then a regular, and repeat that all the way to the next V space. So I need to work in my last double crochet before doing the V. And since this was an even number, 14, we're gonna be ending with a regular double crochet on top of the stitch. Unlike in this section, we had 7 stitches, which was odd, we ended with a front post. So here we're ending with a regular double crochet, and then we're going to make a V stitch into the space. So if you have worked this correctly, this section here, the first row, is 7 double crochets. That means, not counting the V's, this second row is going to have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because we worked into these 2 double crochets from the V stitch from the previous row. The same goes for this section. Previously we had 14, and this row 2, we're going to have 16 double crochets. 16 stitches, not counting the V's. Now we're gonna do the same thing over here of front post and regular, alternating, and then making a V stitch in the space, and again all the way to the end. Now the last stitch of this row, we're going to work in our previous row's slip stitch, so you don't want to miss that. And you can always check if you have the right amount of stitches to see if you missed it or not. So this section should have 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And now we're done with row 2. To finish it, we're going to slip stitch into the V space. Now we're going to chain 3 and double crochet into the same space. And to start off row 3, this is where the pattern starts, we're going to do front post around this double crochet, which was previously a V stitch. And doing so, it will make a pattern. So next one is regular, and then a front post. So that's how it turns out to be alternating. So the previous row, this was a front post, and in this row, it's a regular. So an easy way to know if you are doing your stitches correctly, you should not be front posting over a front post stitch. You should always be front posting over a previous regular double crochet. And you just repeat that, alternating with a regular double crochet and a front post until your V-space, and making sure not to forget to work in this double crochet that was previously a V-stitch for the increase. And just like the previous row, it's pretty much the same. With our last stitch being a front post around the previous V-stitch, and then into the space, a V-stitch. And then again, this was a previously from the V-stitch, we're going to front post. So each section after making a V-stitch is always going to be first a front post. And that's how you'll make sure that the front post and regular post, the front post and regular double crochet are always alternating to create this alpine stitch. So we're gonna work that all the way around. This section, like I said, since it's an odd number, it's always front post and ends with front post before doing the V-stitch. And this one, since it's an even amount of stitches, you're always gonna end with a regular double crochet at the top stitch. Okay, the last stitch that I'm doing is a double crochet into the slip stitch for this row. This is row 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch into the V-space. So row 1 was 14 stitches in between the V-stitches. Then it's 16, then 18. And on the shorter sides, it's 7, 9, and 11 in between the V-stitches. So that is the pattern that you just keep repeating. Chain 3, double crochet, and front post, then regular double crochet into the stitch, then front post, and you will see the pattern forming. We're gonna be doing this for a total of 7 rows. So I currently have 1, 2, 3. This is my 4th row. We're gonna do this for a total of 7 rows. I have finished my yoke with a total of 7 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is it for the yoke and our increase section. If you did this right and you count your stitches, you should have, where you start, your V, then 19 stitches, your V-stitch, 26 stitches, your V-stitch, 19 stitches, your V-stitch, and 26 stitches. And then to end off row 7, we slip stitch into the V space. Now before we can start our body, we have to get ready for it in a way. To do so, I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to skip to the next V space. And in that space, I'm going to make a slip stitch. And then I'm going to cut my yarn. I like to leave a long tail so that later when I'm weaving in, I can weave it in good. And pull it out. Pull this tight. So here's how this is looking. I chain 4 over here with 2 slip stitches. Now we're going to go to the next 2 V's. This section over here. And slip knot. Put it on your hook. Into your V space, we're going to slip stitch, then chain 4, 2, 3, 4. Go over to our next V space and slip stitch. Again, cutting off the yarn. And we're going to cut the yarn. Pull out and just keep it tight. So that is how it's looking. Okay, so here's how our sweater is looking. We have quite a bit of ends, but there's going to be a bunch more by the time we're done with the sweater. Anyways, the yoke part of the sweater, the collar, the yoke is done. We have prepared the edges, and the next step is the body, which we will do in the next video. Collar is done, yoke is done. Now let's do the body. Starting with a slip knot. Put it on your hook. We're going to go under the arm, so the armpit, since these are the arms here. This is the front of the body, back. We're going to find our chain. So we did 4 chains. We're going to work into chain number 3. We're going to put a slip stitch. It can be a little tricky at the beginning because of all these loose ends, but just slowly work around it. We're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain and then chain 2 and double crochet into that same 3rd chain where you did the slip stitch. Now double crochet into the next chain space, the last one, the 4th chain. And we have these ends from the chain space, just put them to the side. Now we work our body until our next chain space. So we're going to continue the Alpine. Don't forget this stitch over here that was previously from a V-stitch. That's where we're going to place our front post double crochet. You can see a slight gap over here. That will be all sewed in at the end. Then regular, then front post double, regular double, and we're going to repeat that all the way down. Like I said, an easy way to know that you are doing this correctly, you are always front posting over a previous row's regular double crochet, never front posting over a previous front post. I went all the way around the front, and don't forget, before we work into our chain, we have to work in from that previous V, which is going to be a regular double crochet. And now we are working 4 double crochets, 1 into each chain space. Okay, I have my 4 double crochets. I like to put all these loose ends through the collar, since we're working our way down, to keep them out of the way. Now, here's our V. We're going to work our front post into this double crochet. And then a regular double crochet, then a front post double crochet. We're going to work that all the way down till we get to this area. Here is our V-stitch, and I'm going to place a regular double crochet at the top. Now, we already made 2 double crochets when we just started, so now we have to make 2 more. So now we have 4 double crochets here as well, not counting this chain 2. That does not count as a stitch, that's just for our height. Now we're going to slip stitch into our first double crochet. I'm going to be doing the invisible slip stitch from behind. So this row is all done. To start our next row, chain 2, and into that same stitch, a double crochet. And then, so this one was the double crochet. We're going to front post over the next. And double crochet, and then front post. Again, repeating that all the way around, and I'll meet you guys at this area. I'm here at this part, which was previously all double crochets. We're gonna start our Alpine stitch into it. So here was the last front post from the previous row, and I did a regular on top of it. So next one is a front post, then a regular. Next is a front post, then regular, front post, and a regular double crochet, and you're back to your repeat. So front post, regular, you do this all the way down. I am here at the end with 2 stitches to go. I did previously a front post, so regular and then front post. Now this row is all done, and I'm going to invisible slip stitch into the top stitch, not chain. Chain 2, and this previous row we did a regular double crochet the first stitch, so now we're going to do a front post around it, and then regular and front post, and we're repeating that all the way around, all the way around, and here as well, until we get back to the end here. I am ending this row with the last stitch being a regular double crochet. And then an invisible slip stitch into the top stitch, the first stitch. Chain 2, and we made a front post previously, so that means this row starts with a regular double crochet into the same space, and then the next one is a front post. So that is how you repeat, alternating each row of, since this one was a regular, you began the first stitch with a regular double crochet, the next row you will be making a front post for your first stitch. And we repeat this for the whole body length until we have a total of 17 rows, with the first row being the first double crochet that we did in the yoke. I have completed working the length of the body, and I have a total of 17 rows. So if we're gonna count, starting from the very first double crochet row in the yoke, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. I finished this row off with a regular slip stitch. And now we're going to work on the ribbing. Now if you're not making this type of ribbing, but the single crochet ribbing, I do usually prefer a round of single crochets together. So in this video here, you can skip to that section over there, and it explains how to do that, because single crochet does not bring in the ribbing as much, and it's more of a straighter look. While this ribbing, you don't need a row of single crochets together because it is a slip stitch ribbing, so it brings it in together really good. So we're going to start off the ribbing by chaining 6. And then into the second loop from the hook, we're going to slip stitch all the way down with a total of 5 slip stitches. 1 slip stitch in each stitch or chain space. Now, not working in, make sure you don't work into this one, that we slip stitched into, but the next two we're going to slip stitch. 1, 2. We're going to turn our work, and then we're going to do the yarn over slip stitch into the back loop, skipping these 2 slip stitches. We're going to do a total of 5 yarn over slip stitches, and then chain 1 and slip stitch into the back loop only for a total of 5. And then here's where we did our previous slip stitch. Next one, where there isn't one, we're going to slip stitch into the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to do our yarn over slip stitch into the back loop. Chain 1 when you're going down is just slip stitch. Going up, yarn over slip stitch, and we skip our 2 slip stitches that we're working into here. And you do that all the way around until your ribbing is all done. I went around and did the ribbing all the way around, and I ended with my last yarn over slip stitch row. Now to join these, we're gonna turn them inside out. So we're gonna join just the same way as we did the collar. The only thing is this is attached to the sweater already. So into the foundation chain, and then only the back loop on the other side, and slip stitch. And back loop, slip stitch, for a total of 5 times. And last one over here, then chain 1. Now we're cutting our yarn. I'm going to leave a tail for sewing in later. Pull this out, pull it tight. Here's our seam on the side. The body is all done, ribbing on the bottom all done. All we have left to do are the sleeves, which will be in the next video. It's time to make the sleeves. We're gonna start with a slip knot. Put it on your hook. Now going into the armpit, right here. So we have the 4 chain. We're going to go into the 3rd one. And slip stitch, then chain 2, and double crochet into that same space, the 3rd chain, and then place a double crochet into the next one, next chain. Now You want to look really closely. This was our V. We're going to work a front post around this double crochet that was a V-stitch, and then a regular front post and regular. Following that all the way around until we get to our next V over here. I'm here at my V stitch, and I'm going to do a front post. Now we're going to do our two last stitches of this row into our chain 4 space. So just a regular double crochet and another one. Now we're going to do an invisible slip stitch, chain 2, and a regular double crochet into that same space. Then we're going to front post double crochet and regular double crochet, and front post, and we're going to go all the way around. For our last 2 stitches of this round, I'm going to go in with a front post and then a regular double crochet, and then invisible slip stitch, chain 2, and start with the front post, because previous row we started with a regular double crochet and then a regular double crochet, repeating that all the way around. The last stitch for this row is a front post double crochet, then invisible, chain 2, and a regular. So that's how we are going to be repeating, alternating between regular double crochet and front post double crochet until you have a total of 16 rows from the very first row here in the yoke. I have a total of 16 rows from the first row here. And now the next part is the ribbing. We're going to do a regular slip stitch into the first stitch, and just the same as we did down here, chain 6, second loop from the hook, slip stitch, 1 slip stitch into each, chain, total of 5 slip stitches. Now into the next stitch, the one that we didn't slip stitch into, slip stitch, and the next one, slip stitch, turn, yarn over, skipping these 2 stitches, we're going to work our yarn over slip stitch, for a total of 5. Chain 1 and slip stitch into the back loop only, all the way down. And then 2 slip stitches into these stitches. 1, 2. Next, you're gonna skip these 2 stitches and do your yarn over slip stitch all the way up, chain 1, go down, and repeat that. So back loop only, yarn over slip stitch and regular slip stitch, skipping these 2 stitches. We're gonna work that all the way around the sleeve. I went around and finished the ribbing, ending on a yarn over slip stitch row. And now we're going to put it inside out. Might be a little tough to work into because it's a tight sleeve. And we're going to slip stitch these 2 sides together. On this side, we're only working in the back loop only. Chain 1 and cut your yarn. So there you have one sleeve complete, and you do the same exact to the other side. Okay, so once you have both sleeves done, all that's left to do is to weave in all the ends. Mine are currently hiding all up in here. And the sweater is done.